Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and answer some questions from the mailbag this week. And we will start with Doom, who writes in with a $14 super chat. How likely is DK to get over 1,200 yards this season? JSN should be drawing attention away from him, right? DK, touchdowns all day. He rules. All right, 1,200 yards. Think about this, okay, folks? Let me put it to you this way. Let me break it down for you. DK, I think, is as talented as any receiver in the upper tier of the National Football League. He is so special, so good. With that said, remember, Geno's got to get the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's also got to get the ball to Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, Colby Parkinson, Will Dissly, and they're a run-first team on top of that, too, with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet and company. So with all that said, 1,200 yards might not be achievable just because of everybody else that's going to get theirs. 1,200, is it possible? It's possible, sure. But that seems like a tall mountain to climb to get to 1,200. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. I'm not ruling it out. I'll put it that way, Doom. Thanks for the $14 super chat. The man himself for the $10 super chat predicts the Seahawks will go 10-7 with a playoff push. Do you think Zach Charbonnet will have a sneaky 700-yard year to complement Kenneth Walker's second 1,000-yard year? That'd be a lot of rushing yards as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he's getting 700 yards. But here's the important thing. This is what I want to see from Zach Charbonnet in 2023. Let's focus on the 700-yard mark or anything like that. What I'm looking at specifically is the yards per carry. I want to see that be a high number. I want the yards per carry number to be very good for Zach Charbonnet. To me, it's not about whether it gets 700, 800 yards or anything like that. It's maximizing his time on the field because Kenneth Walker is still your bell cow. He's still the guy that is going to be your workhorse of sorts. It's when you have Charbonnet out there that you get the most out of him. So that's what I'm looking for, is that yards per carry to be a high number. That's what I'm more concerned with. If he gets 5+ yards per carry, then that would be really good for Zach Charbonnet as far as I'm concerned. That's what I'm more concerned about. Gino, better than Russ, writes in, hashtag Seahawks. With the uncertainty of Jordyn Brooks' return and the ups and downs of Devin Bush, would it make sense to trade for Devin White? Great question there. And you bring up a good point. So as we're bringing you this show, we're still waiting, obviously, on Jordyn Brooks and if he's going to be ready for camp, if he's going to be ready for the season or not. And we really just don't know at this point in time. It is a wait-and-see approach. It's beyond our control, obviously. And so with that, you have to start thinking about other options. What do the Seahawks look like if Jordyn Brooks isn't around? Well, then Devin Bush would step up and would be starting alongside Bobby Wagner. And Devin Bush had a really good rookie year in Pittsburgh, but hasn't played well ever since. Now, he's had an impressive offseason, but there's some doubts that if he should really be depended on to be a full-time starter. I don't have any issue with Devin Bush as your rotational backup to fill that spot, but I would be concerned if he was your full-time starter as far as that goes. So would it make sense to trade for Devin White? Devin White is not going to be very cheap. It's going to cost you draft capital. It's going to cost you draft picks. I'm not opposed to it, but I think the bigger concern, because you might have Jordyn Brooks back anyway, is the interior of the defensive line. That, to me, is a bigger priority. Devin Bush, I think, would be very exciting to have here, but I don't think that's the biggest concern at this point as far as I'm concerned. So, should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? What do you guys think? Weigh in the comment section. Let me know. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White or not? Tell me what you think. Y for yes, in for no. You may be watching this and saying to yourself, man, how do I get to be a part of these mailbags? Well, if you subscribe to the channel, then you can join us for our live shows that we do on Wednesdays. You'll be notified when we go live, and we'll be doing these live shows each and every week where you guys can submit your questions to us. We react to them in real time. We certainly enjoy it. We love what we do here on the channel. So go ahead and subscribe now so you can be a part of our next mailbag here on the channel. Best part about it, absolutely 100% free. Next one from Peter. Peter writes, Tyler, what's your favorite college team? I'm glad you asked, Peter. I would assume you're a Virginia Tech fan with the avatar there. But, Peter, I am proud to say I attended the University of Kansas, the home of the Kansas Jayhawks, and that is my college team. I grew up, though, as a kid in Oklahoma, a big fan of the Oklahoma Sooners. And so I still root for Oklahoma when they're not playing Kansas. But with that said, the Jayhawks are my team. And, a lot of excitement about last year, a breakthrough season after some bad football the last few years in Lawrence, Kansas. They went to that bowl game. That was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, lost to Tracy Trace's Arkansas Razorbacks. Wasn't the only loss Kansas suffered to Arkansas in athletics last year. That's a whole other story. But with that said, I do love KU. That's my team. Rock Chalk, let's have a great year and see what happens. Tom, how much playing time do you think the starters get in the preseason? Not a whole lot. If I'm Pete Carroll and company, for the most part, you know who you got your guys are. Between Geno, DK, Lockett, Walker, there's not a whole lot left to prove. Like Bobby Wagner too. Like, do I really need to risk injury with Bobby Wagner out there? No. I think you'll see them get the legs fresh, make sure that they're in playing shape and all that. But beyond that, I don't see much as far as I'm concerned. Folks, we know the Seahawks are going to be doing the throwback jerseys this year, and they look phenomenal. And here's the deal. With that, we are offering Seahawks throwback gear, the same logo and design that you're going to be seeing the Seahawks wear later on this year, on sale for up to 60% off. Full supplies last in some of these deals. It's incredible. I'm excited about it. This is a great thing that we're offering. I love the throwback stuff to the AFC days that the Seahawks have. This is some of the best throwback gear in the entire league. And so why would you not want to get some Seahawks throwback gear? Whether you want hats, shirts, maybe a Tommy Bahama shirt, whatever it may be, we got all of it on sale now at chatsports.com/Seahawks gear. At chatsports.com/Seahawks gear to get yours today. Cuba Lopez writes in, what is Jamal Adams' future for our team? A hybrid role, or does Julian Love take his spot because our cap not great? The way the cap situation works out, doesn't make any sense to move on from Jamal Adams because you still have to pay him no matter what. So you might as well keep him and play him. With that said, I think that you're going to see him play some type of hybrid safety role, like you mentioned. You'll see him line up at linebacker at times and kind of be free-flowing. And I think you'll see some three-high safety techniques with Julian Love, with Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. And Pete Carroll said a while back he's always wanted to do some three-safety stuff, and that they're going to do more of that than they've ever done before. So everybody's going to get playing time. That safety room is as good as any in football. Should be a lot of fun as far as I'm concerned. If Jamal Adams can stay healthy, that's a game changer for this defense. All right, time for, I think this might be our final question here. From Dr. 12. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. Hashtag Seahawks. I know we're loaded at running back, but if Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley can't get a deadline deal done, should we consider bringing one of them in? So it's a very good question you asked, Dr. 12. Let's set the scene for you here. So you got the franchise tag extension deadline coming up next week. I think it's on Monday. Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley still waiting for new deals at this point, and they're not going to be happy if they don't get their said deals, and there could be trades involved, particularly Josh Jacobs more so than Saquon Barkley here, because the Giants are in more of a win-now mode than the Raiders are at this point. With that said, I think Jacobs and Barkley are both very good players. I'm partial to Josh being a Tulsa guy and everything. But with that said, I don't think the Seahawks have any interest and they shouldn't because they are loaded with young running backs who they're not having to pay a whole lot of money for. To me, that's what you want. Don't need those guys. They'll be good somewhere. Don't know if it's going to be with the teams they're at, but certainly not what the Seahawks are needing as far as I'm concerned. Before we go, one final question. Should the Seahawks add Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley? If one of the two are available, should they make a move? Chime in and tell me what you think. A for add, P for pass. Should Seattle add Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley? Let me know.